No contact is undoubtedly one of the most frustrating period because each and every day you are in a battle with yourself and you have no idea whether you would like to wait for the other person to come back to you or you should just move on. But here is something I want you guys to understand, and this is going to change your perspective because I believe no contact also provides us with an opportunity. Because I went through no contact myself. One of my life's biggest transformation started from no contact. I had a heartbreak. I was going through no contact phase, and that is when I did something that completely transformed my life. And that is exactly what I'm trying to teach you today so that you are able to understand. No contact actually provides us the right fuel that we need to completely transform ourselves. Because remember, in no contact, you're going through all that frustration, you are going through all those withdrawal symptoms, and if you can just tap into that energy and use it as a motivational drive to completely transform yourself, I have found that this energy can be used to completely transform your life. So I want you to have an open mind about this, because if this isn't your first no contact phase and you have actually been through a lot of no contact phase in your life, this training program is going to completely blow your mind, because I'm going to help you understand your subconscious blueprint. And once you understand your subconscious blueprint, you will understand that you can completely break this cycle of going through no contact again and again. Let me just give you certain perspective about this. You see, no contact serves as an interruption mechanism. It reduces emotional dependency cycles, lowers nervous system hyperactivation, interrupts dopamine based attachment loops, creates space for cognitive clarity. However, removing the person does not remove the pattern. No contact clears emotional chaos. It does not rebuild subconscious blueprint that created the attraction. So, here is something I want you to understand over here. The most important part is, a lot of us think removing the person from the equation will fix the equation, but it only removes the emotional chaos. However, the subconscious attraction blueprint that actually created this attraction is still within you. That is something no contact cannot fix. And this is exactly what I want you guys to understand, because if you have been through multiple cycles of no contact, then this is a pattern and we need to break this pattern. And to break this pattern, we need to first of all understand attraction in itself. What is attraction? Why do you get attracted to same kind of partners who are emotionally unavailable, who end up ghosting you, or who make you go through no contact? Because if this has been happening to you and it has happened multiple times, this is a pattern. So we need to understand how you are getting attracted to such kind of individuals. You see, attraction is based on familiarity. So let's understand this. The brain prioritizes familiar emotional patterns, predictability, neurological efficiency. You do not attract what you want, you attract what your nervous system recognizes as normal. Our subconscious mind treats attraction as something that it is familiar to. Anything that we are familiar to, our subconscious mind begins the attraction towards that particular object, person, or anything. This is how attraction works. And what your subconscious mind finds normal is what it keeps attracting you towards. Now, that normal can be very chaotic for you. But if that is your subconscious mind's normal, that is what you're going to keep getting attracted to. So, this explains repeating relationship cycles, attraction to emotionally unavailable partners, strong chemistry with unstable dynamics. Healing requires moving from avoidance to reconstruction. You see, this is where I was wrong when I was going through no contact, and I thought that avoiding the person is the solution. If I avoid such people, if I avoid such relationships, if I avoid getting attracted to such kind of partners, I can just completely avoid this feeling. That's not the solution. That's just avoiding the symptoms. Because if you observe, the pattern is still within me. I'm just avoiding it. but it still exists. So, in order for us to break our attraction pattern to toxic partners, we need to reconstruct our subconscious identity. And that requires healing. And the very first step towards this healing journey is what I want you guys to understand, because this completely changes your perspective on what you are supposed to do next. The shift must move from how do I get them back to what internal state am I normalizing? Lasting relational change requires internal recalibration. You see, whether your objective is to manifest your SP or get your ex back, or you want to attract a relationship that you truly desire, you need to start thinking from the perspective of what are you normalizing? What is your subconscious mind attracting you towards? What is normal for your subconscious mind to begin the process of attraction? Changing this subtle perspective on no contact can massively transform your relationship dynamic, because you are going to understand something very important. If you end up getting the person that you truly desire, what is it that you are going to experience or feel? It might be happiness, fulfillment. It can be a lot of different emotions. So, in reality, what you are trying to experience is the emotion, not the person in itself. Start focusing on the outcome that you want to achieve. Whether you are going to achieve that outcome or that emotional success through your SP, X, or anyone, it will require healing. It will require you to subconsciously recalibrate. And if your SP, your X is in alignment with the healed version of yourself, you will be able to manifest them back. And I have done this twice in my life. And trust me, guys, the process is quite simple. It starts with healing. Now, before moving forward, what if I told you in 90 minutes from now, you will be able to attract your SP or break this trauma loop or this emotional cycle, and you will be able to get inside your subconscious mind and remove the heartbreak, and you will be free from this emotional gap. Because I have launched my instant heartbreak healing mastery course, and in this course I take you through several modules, and these modules will help you understand how your subconscious mind works, how instant healing hypnosis works, and how you can apply it today. And starting from today, you just become a magnet for whatever you truly desire. So if you would like to try that out, the link is in the description. You can check it out. A lot of us have been stuck in toxic relationship patterns. We keep attracting these toxic recurring patterns in our relationship, or toxic recurring partners. The faces keep changing. However, how these partners treat us remain the same. The theme of our relationship dynamics somehow are quite similar to one another. Even though these partners are not connected, but it feels like all of them are in on making your life a hell. How is that even happening? For that, we need to understand how our subconscious attraction blueprint operates, how our subconscious mind attracts partners into our life, or how our subconscious mind attracts us towards certain type of people. And to understand this perspective, we need to understand how our subconscious attraction or relationship blueprint is developed. Because the very first relationship that we develop in this life is with our parents. The influence of those relationships on our subconscious mind is so dynamic. It shapes the adult life relationship that we attract into our reality. And if we can understand how the parental influence operates at a subconscious level, we can understand our subconscious attraction blueprint. But not only understand that, we can also break that. But it requires understanding of how the subconscious parental influence works. So by the end of this video, you will be blown away, because this is the sort of experiences that I went through. And during my research in becoming an instant healing hypnotherapist, I have researched on several different aspects of human subconscious mind to understand how our attraction pattern is shaped, what kind of partners we attract due to what kind of experiences. And I'm going to share all of that with you, so you will be able to understand why you have been able to consistently attract similar type of partners into your life. So just sit back, relax, keep an open mind, and let's dive into this. You see, early caregiver relationships wires emotional regulation systems. These imprints influence self-worth, emotional safety, attachment behavior, and partner selection. So Our early caregivers, which is primarily our parents, shape our entire relationship blueprint. Now, let's understand how each of the parents influence our subconscious mind. And that will give us another layer of understanding why we are attracting certain kind of partners. Let's start with the father. Now, a father represents masculine energy. The influence of our emotional connection with our father shapes our relationship attraction blueprint, and that we are going to understand how it shapes our attraction blueprint. You see, the father's influence shapes self esteem, self worth, self confidence, self respect, and sense of identity. These five traits are shaped as a result of our emotional connection with our father or the masculine figure during our childhood. Now, these five traits are developed as a result of our emotional connection with our father. Now, if that emotional connection was disrupted due to any kind of a traumatic event or any kind of traumatic relationship or even one single moment, that sort of created a father wound inside our subconscious mind. There are few ways this can play out in our life. So either the father influence traits will be in excess or in deficit, but they will not be balanced as a result of the father wound. So if they are in excess, they will play out in a very different way. If they are in deficit, they are going to play out in a very different way. So let's understand that. So let's suppose if they are in deficit. So let's understand if they are in deficit, what are the traits you are going to develop in your personality? You see, you will have low self worth. You will have fear of rejection. You will have approval seeking tendencies, difficulty asserting needs in relationship. This happens as a result if the father influence traits are in deficit. Now, whether they are in deficit or in excess depends upon our inherited traits. So it means a lot of the people can have father wound, but some of them will have these traits in excess, some of them will have it in deficit. Now, let's understand what kind of partners you are going to attract if you have your father influence traits in deficit. The partners that will be attracted in your relationship dynamics are going to be emotionally unavailable individuals, dominant or controlling partners, validation withholding personalities, narcissistic dynamics. The nervous system seeks external validation to compensate for internal deficiency. Now, if you observe, we always attract what we feel inside. So let's suppose if the father influence traits are in deficit inside of us, that will make us attract partners who are going to have such behavior. They will be emotionally unavailable individuals. They will have dominant or controlling personalities. They will be someone who would hold on to validation and they would have narcissistic tendencies because all these personality traits within a partner will trigger the lack of self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, self-respect, and sense of identity. So we attract what we feel inside. So have you been attracting such kind of partners? If the answer is yes, then your father influence traits might be in deficit inside your subconscious mind. Now let's understand what happens if father influence traits are in excess as the result of a father wound. You see, if the traits are in excess, you will have hyper independence, emotional rigidity, over control, avoidance of vulnerabilities. And as a result of all of these personality traits, the sort of partners that you are going to attract are going to be emotionally dependent individuals, clingy or insecure partners, individuals seeking strong leadership. Excess autonomy attracts dependency polarization. So if you see, if you have all these traits in excess, the sort of partners that you're going to attract are these kind of partners. So if you see, you attract what you feel inside. So I want you to observe your relationship patterns and I want you to observe the sort of partners you have been able to attract in relationship dynamics. And I want you to identify whether you have the father influence traits in excess or in deficit. Now, let's focus on the mother influence traits. Now, mother influence traits are what we call the feminine energy. And how does this influence our subconscious mind? What are the sort of traits that our emotional connection with our mother helps us shape? Now, these traits are emotional expression, nurturing capacity, comfort with intimacy, empathy, and emotional safety. Now, These five traits are developed as the result of our emotional connection with our mother or the feminine figure in our early childhood. Now, just like the father wound, if there was any kind of a mother wound or traumatic experience or traumatic relationship with our mother, these traits can either be in excess or in deficit. And whether they are in excess or deficit will have influence on our adult life relationship. And what are those influences? So let's see. Let's start with the deficit. If the five mother influence traits are in deficit, what's going to happen is you will have traits such as emotional withdrawal, difficulty expressing affection, discomfort with closeness, suppress vulnerability. Now, if these traits are in deficit, that's what your personality traits are going to be. And as a result of that, the partners you are going to attract in your relationship dynamics is emotionally distant individuals, avoidant partners, intimacy resistant personalities. Emotional distance feels neurologically familiar. This is what's going to happen if you have the mother influence traits in deficit. Now let's understand what happens if the mother influence traits are in excess. So if the mother influence traits are in excess, the traits you are going to have is you might have over nurturing, emotional over investment, losing identity in relationship, anxiety driven attachment or anxious attachment style. Now as a result of this, the sort of partners you are going to attract is emotionally immature individuals, partners seeking caretaking, under functioning personalities. Excess nurturing attracts emotional dependency. And I can also tell you this with experience, with my own experience and the experience of a lot of different clients. When you have mother influence traits in excess, you are always the most clingy one in the relationship. You might be someone who is overly obsessed with your partner, and emotional withdrawal can be very harsh for you because you have all the mother influence traits in excess. Now you have understood the father's influence and the mother's influence. But up until now, we have been looking at both of these in isolation. But to understand our subconscious attraction blueprint holistically, we need to understand how both of them work together. And that will give us such a great understanding of our attraction blueprint. Now we are going to analyze your exact subconscious attraction blueprint. So, attraction patterns are formed through combined imprints of the father and the mother. You see, attraction patterns are formed through combined imprints of the father influence trait and the mother influence trait. So, let's just see what you are attracting in your relationship dynamics. Now, if you have the father influence traits in deficit, but you have mother influence traits in excess, if that is your subconscious attraction blueprint, what's going to happen? Your internal state would be low self worth, high emotional over investment. The behavior you will have is chasing, overgiving, fear based attachment. The partners you are going to attract is avoidant individuals, emotionally unavailable partners, partner who enjoy being pursued. I want you to reflect on your own relationship experiences and determine, is this the pattern that you have? Now let's move on to the next pattern. If you have your father influence traits in excess and the mother influence traits in deficit, this kind of a subconscious imprint creates partners who are quite narcissistic and they are quite overly dominating. So let's understand them. Their internal state is emotional rigidity, vulnerability suppression. The behavior that they have is detached dominance, emotional withholding. The sort of partner they attract is highly emotional individuals, partners seeking emotional leadership. Now, here is something I want you guys to understand over here. If you observe someone who has father influence traits in deficit and mother influence traits in excess will end up attracting someone who has father influence traits in excess and mother influence traits in deficit. This is what happens, and I have observed this again and again, because there will be some subconscious familiarity between you people, because you will be able to relate on the childhood dynamics where you both might have experienced a father wound or a mother wound. However, the influence of the father wound and the mother wound is very different on each one of you. Now let's understand the third subconscious attraction blueprint. That is, if you have your father influence traits in deficit and your mother influence traits are also in deficit, so both are in deficit. So if that is something you have, your internal state would be low self-worth, emotional avoidance. The behavior you will have is settling for instability, tolerating inconsistency. The partners you are going to attract is chaotic personalities, insecure or unstable partners. And I have observed that such kind of people are quite depressive. The sort of relationship experience that they attract is quite depressive. They are depressive, their partners are depressive, and the entire theme of the relationship just becomes depressive. There is not much joy in relationships. In other words, there are no highs in the relationship. There are only lows in such kind of relationship. Now let's understand the last subconscious attraction blueprint. That is, if the father influence traits are in excess and the mother influence traits are also in excess, so what kind of relationship are you going to have? The sort of internal state that you will have is high control, high emotional intensity. The sort of behavior that you will have is power struggles, dramatic relational cycles. The sort of partners you are going to be attracted to are going to be dominant personalities, intense but unstable dynamics. Now, I want you to understand which one of these four is your subconscious attraction blueprint. Because just by understanding what is your subconscious attraction blueprint, you can understand why you are attracting certain kind of partners into your life. And this knowledge in itself is a great starting point for you to start healing. Now, if you would like to heal, you can just take this information to your therapist and you can start working on your subconscious mind. Your therapist will help you remove the father wound, the mother wound, and once you remove the father wound and the mother wound, the traits that are associated with each of the parents will become balanced. And if they are balanced, what are you going to attract? You're going to attract someone who's as balanced as you are. However, if you would like to work with me in my 15 days instant healing program, where I teach you the art of instant healing hypnosis, where I help you get inside your subconscious mind, remove the father wound and mother wound in less than 2 to 3 minutes, because that's how fast instant healing hypnosis works. And that's exactly what I've done for so many of my clients. But I also give you a roadmap where you can just get inside your subconscious mind and remove all the blockages. Because remember, instant healing hypnosis works in less than 2 to 3 minutes. So why stop at father wound or mother wound? Why not go an extra mile and remove all the blockages from your subconscious mind? Now, as a plus, I also teach you conversational hypnosis, because remember, each and every relationship that we develop in our life is highly dependent upon our communication. And communication is one of the number one problem because of which a lot of the relationships fall apart. In conversational hypnosis, I teach you the art of conversational hypnosis, and by applying that technique in less than a minute of casual conversation, you will be able to observe that the other person gets so attracted to you. They will start speaking more and more to you. That's how I have designed my 15 days instant healing program that completely shifts your relationship blueprint, and it helps you attract a long-term sustainable healthy relationship. And if you would be interested in that, my process is quite simple. You can sign up for a free mini therapy session. Now, this free mini therapy session is my enrollment process to assess your subconscious mind map, your attraction blueprint, and determine if your subconscious mind is primed for result. And if you are 100% sure about my program, I will allow you to enroll into my program. However, if I feel like I cannot promise you the result, or your subconscious mind has a lot of doubts about my program, I might refuse your application. Because remember, placebo effect happens. Whatever you believe in is going to happen. And if you believe my program can help you, I promise you I can help you. But if I feel like I cannot promise you the result, I might refuse your application. If you are someone who wants to attract your desired relationship and you want to completely transform your subconscious attraction blueprint, but without healing, you do not want to go into therapy, you want something that can start helping you from today, this particular method that I'm about to share with you is going to completely change your life forever. And this is a method that I have done in my initial years when I was learning instant healing hypnosis and how to transform my subconscious mind. Now, I call this method acting. And by doing method acting, what we are doing is we are modeling your identity. We are completely changing your subconscious mind. We're changing the sort of people you attract in life and the sort of experiences you have in life. So I want you to pay close attention to this, and you are going to love this. So the core principle that I want you guys to understand before I reveal the method to you guys is the subconscious mind does not change through explanation. It changes through identity repetition. Neuroscience shows that the brain activates similar neural pathways when vividly imagining an experience as when physically living it. So you cannot just tell your subconscious mind, hey, I want to change. And your subconscious mind is not going to be like, all right, he wants to change or she wants to change. So let me just change. That's not how your subconscious mind works. Your subconscious mind works by learning something through repetition. When you can do something again and again, your subconscious mind learns that. That's how we learn a lot of the different things in our life. And the good thing about our subconscious mind is it cannot tell the difference between what is our imagination and what is our reality. This is why visualizations work. This is why manifestations work, because our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference. If we consistently visualize something, we are able to manifest that. But what I'm about to share with you is better than visualization. You see, the subconscious cannot clearly distinguish between real emotional experience or deeply imagined emotional experience. Repeated imagination creates neurological familiarity. Familiarity becomes identity. Identity becomes attraction. This is how your subconscious mind works. Now, before I begin to explain this method to you guys, I want you to analyze something from me. Have you observed that if you are watching your favorite season or series and you have some kind of a favorite character, and you keep watching that series or season, after a while, you're going to observe you start behaving like your favorite character. Have you observed that? What's happening over there? That is what we call the mirror neuron effect. Whatever your subconscious mind is experiencing through that character is what your subconscious mind is replicating inside your entire neurology. So, in order for you to execute this flawlessly, I want you to think of your life as a movie, and you have been hired for acting gig. And this acting gig will require you to do some method acting. Go all Jared Leto. I don't care. I want you to use this method starting from today. Now, how are you going to do this? The way you are going to do this is the first step of this particular method is select your balance identity model. Think of a person who embodies balanced father and mother related traits. This can be a movie character, a public figure, someone you know, an imaginary character. It doesn't matter. Choose a character who's quite balanced, someone who is living the relationship that you want to experience. I want you to pick that character and build that character, whatever that character is. If you're making a character, just list down all the qualities that this person has. This person must represent balanced father influence traits such as confident, self assured, boundary, calmly decisive, self respecting, and balanced mother traits, which include emotionally warm, expressive, secure in intimacy, nurturing but not overgiving, compassionate yet grounded. The person represents secure attachment in action. So, in summary, I want you to choose a character that has a secure attachment style. If you have no character in your mind, I want you to build this character. Sit down for a while, take a piece of paper, and I want you to think, how does a person who has secure attachment style would operate in life? What kind of mindset do they have? What kind of lifestyle do they have? I want you to just dive into the psychology of someone who has secure attachment style. And the easiest way is to pick a character, because if you pick a character, you kind of have an understanding about how that character operates. So you can pick a character, make a character. This can be some public figure, it can be anyone. Choose a character whose life you want to experience. Now, once you have selected your character, analyze the identity. This is the most important part. Do not skip this part. This will play a very big role in what you attract in your relationship dynamics. Now, mentally study this character. Ask, how do they wake up? How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they respond to rejection? How do they handle conflict? How do they text someone they like? How do they carry themselves in silence? Ask all these questions, ask more questions, analyze all of these aspects, and you must have an answer for all of these questions. You are mapping their nervous system, not their personality, their baseline emotional state. So you are subconsciously analyzing this person to understand their psychology. And once you understand their psychology, you will be able to map out how this person operates in life. And once you know all of this, we move on to step number three. Now, step number three is the 5 minute morning installation. Every morning for 5 minutes, when you wake up, give yourself 5 minutes. And in this 5 minutes, close your eyes. Imagine you are this person. See the day ahead through their perspective. Walk through your actual schedule as them. Feel how their body feels. Notice how calm, grounded, and secure their nervous system is. Do not analyze, embody. Feel it in your chest, posture, breathing. Then open your eyes and carry that state into your day. This is what I want you to do for 5 minutes every day. Let's suppose in between the day, something happens and you feel like you are getting out of character. And the moment you feel that, find yourself a spot and do this once again. For 5 minutes, analyze how will this person behave in such environment or such dynamic or this situation, and just analyze and feel what they're feeling and observe how they're going to behave and do exactly that. Trust me, just do that. You are in a movie and you are doing some method acting, so give it your best. Step 4, maintain character throughout the day. Whenever triggered, ask, how would this version of me respond? Then respond accordingly. You are not pretending, you are installing. Remember, your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagination. So, if you are acting this character, you are subconsciously installing the neurological state of someone who has secure attachment style. Now, why this actually works is when you watch a series and admire a character, you unconsciously absorb their traits. Your brain mirrors behavior. Imagination activates similar neural circuit as lived experience. When repeated daily, the emotional state becomes familiar, the body adopts a new posture and tone, reactions change, attraction dynamics shift. Within 21 days, the nervous system begins treating the state as default. This is how long it takes for your subconscious mind to completely shift your predominant neurological state consciously. If you can practice this consciously without a break for 21 days, this is how long it's going to take to train your subconscious mind to be in a secure attachment style, and you yourself will be able to observe that people will respond very differently to you. The sort of people you're going to attract will be very different. This works, and I have done this several times in my life. In my early days, when I was trying to understand how the subconscious mind works and how transformation works, I would fool myself to believe in that I'm a version of myself who is already healed. And it did the trick. It did the trick. Early on, this is what I did, and it just did the trick. I want you guys to try this out. Anytime I started feeling like my old triggers were getting re-triggered, I would just imagine, what would this character do in my situation? How will they behave? How will they talk? How will they walk? How will their body language be? And I started acting like that. And I observed over a period of time, I was no longer playing a character in my life. I became that character because my subconscious mind understood this is how we are going to operate from here onwards. And it works, guys. The 21-day identity installation rule. Repeat daily for 21 days. Consistency builds familiarity. Familiarity builds subconscious acceptance. Subconscious acceptance builds relation magnetism. And trust me, I felt the difference in less than 21 days, because the moment I started practicing all of this, I was able to observe how people were just so attracted to me, and the way they were attracted to me completely blew my mind, because I was like, I have never experienced this before in my life. How is this even happening? But it was happening because I was moving through life in a very different way, and that was making other people attracted toward this new persona that I had. The final principle that I want you guys to understand, you do not need to fix every wound individually. You can install the identity of someone who has already healed. Your subconscious mind will reorganize your behavior to match the installed identity. Attraction changes when identity changes. No contact clears the past. Identity modeling builds the future. So I want you guys to mark this video, save this video, and I want you to try this for 21 days. And once you are done, come back to this video. Leave a comment to share your experience, how things turned out for you. What is the difference that you experience by using this method acting method? And I promise you, you will be able to see the results long before 21 days, because the moment you start embodying the traits of someone who is secure, your entire reality shifts, your perspective starts shifting, and the way people behave around you just shifts at a subconscious level, at a vibrational level, at a physiological level. Everything starts changing. So give it a shot. And once you are done, come back to the video, leave a lovely comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, stay happy, stay blessed, and keep healing. Bye bye.